There's something about Bakemonogatari that feels romantic. The first entry to the Monogatari series, a series that gets better over time as it continues to flesh out its cast and fully realizes its character journeys, and slowly adds more context to characters, as it's a series that has a deadly allergic reaction to chronological order. Despite this though, Monogatari starts off insanely strong with its first entry, Bakemonogatari, and is even able to evoke a different vibe from the rest of the series. Bake might feel special due to it being the entryway into this stylistically distinct series that combines the strange idiosyncrasies of Nisio Isin and Studio Shaft. But I think there's a distinct and cohesive emotional core to Bake specifically, especially viewed from the perspective of our protagonist, Koyomi Araragi. Araragi really only has one friend at the beginning of Bake if you don't count the strange supernatural specialist camped out in an abandoned school building. Hanakawa is the only person somewhat close to Araragi, but even this has some connotations to it that sort of complicates the situation. Like him putting her on this sort of weird pedestal as a savior and claiming that his debt to her is more important than their friendship. Araragi at this point in the story is a recovering loner, someone who not too long ago was saying things like, "Having friends makes me less human" during the events of Kizumonogatari. Then comes Hitagi Senjugahara falling down the stairs, depicted in the anime as if she was falling down from the heavens, with the beginning of the beautiful Shinsuo no Reijo playing. As Araragi catches her, time slows down and he reflects in her eyes, with Araragi saying, "Not ignoring her was the right decision, I think." This scene feels like a memory almost, a recollection of an encounter that changed two people's trajectories forever. A memory so beautiful it almost hurts. And that sort of romanticism encapsulates what I love about Bakemonogatari specifically. Bake feels the most romantic of the Monogatari series as it primarily focuses on the budding relationship of Araragi and Senjugahara. These two people are similar yet very different. Two loners completely by choice for differing reasons. Hitagi is so on guard she staples Araragi's mouth as a warning. A warning. Then on the flip side, Araragi can't help but find all his self-worth in helping others, not caring about himself much and displaying a sense of cynicism in his first dialogue scene with Hanakawa. Hitagi has shut herself off from the world as almost a defense mechanism for the trauma she faced earlier in her life, her very existence feeling like it's fading from the world as she has no connections and doesn't make herself stand out much. It's such a sad way for someone to live because of their trauma. But then comes Araragi, and I want to say how much I love how Monogatari depicts how to save someone. There are comments on how Araragi saved Senjugahara, but this series makes the distinction that Araragi didn't help her as much as he gave her an opportunity to help herself and to be there for her. Thanks to this chance encounter, Hitagi is able to regain her quote-unquote weight, all of her trauma, but her capacity for emotion and connection, and just being more than a fleeting existence about to dissipate any moment. After all, the first thing she does when she recovers from the crab is make friends with Araragi. After years of repression, through her relationship with Araragi, Hitagi is able to tease and flirt and make snarky comments and be just overall more expressive than in her days as an evanescent existence. She's able to feel the beauty of romantic feelings and also gives her the ability to take control of sexual relationships in her life, something she needs after her traumatic experience with it. But more than that, she just has fun talking to Araragi and connecting with them. Araragi helps change Hitagi, but I think even more so and more importantly, Hitagi helps Araragi change for the better very subtly. Connecting with Senjogahara really sets a domino effect for the relatively isolated Araragi, one that makes him more outgoing and makes more connections as the cast opens up a little more with each arc. By the end of Bake, he has made friends with Hachikuji, Kanbaru, and Nariko, all of who help him search for Shinobu when he asks them to because they care about him. Araragi is the epitome of self-sacrifice. After all, he pretty much finds all his self-worth exclusively in helping others. There's definitely a fraction of self-spite here. Like, he frequently gives up his body to help others, like getting his shit kicked in trying to save Nariko by a fucking god snake. Even being willing to die to save Kanbaru from the rainy devil. Even allusions to the events of Kizumonogatari, where Araragi gives up his life to help a freaking vampire. He's the type of dude whose actions border on suicide just to save someone. But Senjogahara, to put it briskly, says nuh-uh to that, setting a principle that anyone that kills Araragi will die by her hand. It also sends a precedent that if Araragi dies, he will be missed. Like I said earlier, when all the characters help him search for Shinobu, this act of them going out of their way to help him makes them realize that if he died, these people will be sad, and that his life has worth to these people. Then for the first time, this boy who finds no worth in himself asks to be saved, all because of the love Senjogahara has given him. Araragi being in a relationship with Senjogahara in itself contradicts his purely self-sacrificial nature, as he clearly finds happiness and pleasure in his relationship with her. There are even points where his being in a relationship with Senjogahara actively hurts others, like Kanbaru and Hanakawa, but despite this, he still maintains his relationship with Hitagi, because he loves her. It's the one thing that he has started to do for himself, to be in a healthy reciprocal relationship. This relationship is a strong and effective emotional core for Bakemonogatari. This relationship being a jumpstart for these two teenagers' positive development, and just makes it all the more endearing seeing them open up to each other, and even more people. There's meaning in the final sequence where Araragi and his friends are walking together at the same time of day in the same color scheme as Araragi's first scene where he's interacting with someone in the Hanakawa classroom scene. But that scene is directed to give a sense of separation from the two, with chairs blocking each other or Araragi's fidgeting pen blocking off Hanakawa's face. In this final scene, there's a sense of togetherness as they walk together in sync and even talk in sync, bringing a sense of connection. These teenagers in Hitagi and Araragi find warmth in each other, but they have encouraged each other to open their boundaries more as they make more connection. Such as when Hitagi seems to brush off her past relationship with Kanbaru from middle school when brought up by Araragi, but then reconciles with her a bit at the end of Suruga Monkey. Watching her genuinely laugh as she plays with Araragi during lunch, or just messing with him with her twisted sense of humor, making him uncomfortable in front of her dad, which that entire car scene is comedy gold. Especially her bit where she pretends that she's confused about who Araragi is referring to between her and her dad. Anyways, episode 12 is fantastic because it encapsulates everything I love about these two relationships, and is probably my favorite episode of Bake. Araragi's talk with her dad is a personal favorite, accentuating how Araragi has made her more happy and proactive in her life by actually asking her dad for favors. But amongst it is a beautiful sentiment. When Araragi says all he did was just be there for her, her father says, that's good enough. The most important thing is being there when you're needed. How these two awkward teenagers are able to change each other for the better by just being themselves and being ever present is beautiful. When she lists all the things she can give him, it's a humble list, something showing her insecurities as she doesn't have a lot to offer him. But like her dad said, that's good enough. He's just gotta be the person he loves. The way she accepts all of her misfortune because it led her to him is something I'm sure Araragi can agree with, considering the prequel name Kizu literally means scar, alluding to an emotional trauma from those events that made him stay as a pseudo-vampire, and also the events even before that, which will get explored in Bakemonogatari. All of the pain, isolation, and disillusion with the world and the people around them led to this moment of warmth under the stars with the person they both love. Bake, of course, is the first entry in a long series of overarching character development, only showing the beginning of some of these beautiful characters' journeys. And there are about a dozen fantastic qualities of the series I didn't touch upon, but I just wanted to express this weird, abstract, compartmentalized emotion that strikes me when I think of Bakemonogatari in particular. Like the scene of Araragi catching Senjukahara, or the scene of them gazing out at the skies and then at each other. It's like a melancholic romantic memory. The song that plays as episode 12 ends as it fixates on the stars overtaking them, using Senjukahara's lines as lyrics playing at the ending song for each episode. It's like they found nostalgic romance, concentrated it, put it in a song, and decided to permeate it through the entire work, giving Bakemonogatari a feeling of blooming during adolescence, finding beauty and love and friendships, all because a pseudo-vampire caught a weightless girl. Not ignoring her was the right decision, I think.